Welcome to Copilot Podcasts. Imagine if you could teach AI to write better instructions for itself, like a digital apprentice learning to cast increasingly powerful spells. Today, we're exploring the fascinating world of spell-like prompting, how researchers are developing techniques that let AI systems control and improve their own creative output, why this represents a fundamental shift in human-AI collaboration, and what it means for the future of content creation. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how these breakthrough techniques work and why they're revolutionizing everything from podcast generation to complex problem solving.
Let me hand this over to someone who's been diving deep into this research. What exactly is spell-like prompting and why should we care?
So, the term spell-like prompting isn't actually used in the research, but it perfectly captures what's happening. According to recent studies from Springer's AI conference proceedings, we're seeing prompt engineering evolve into something that feels almost magical, precise, structured instructions that can dramatically transform AI behavior.
That's a fascinating way to put it. Break down what prompt engineering actually is for those who might be new to this.
Prompt engineering is essentially the art and science of crafting effective instructions for AI systems. The Springer research introduces something called the Perfect Framework, a comprehensive approach to designing prompts that can enhance performance across different AI tasks and domains.
The Perfect Framework, I love that they made it an acronym. What makes this approach different from just, asking AI nicely to do something?
Right? The acronym is brilliant marketing. But seriously, the difference is structure and precision. According to the research, inadequate prompts lead to ambiguous, inaccurate responses. The Perfect Framework addresses this by providing a systematic approach rather than just hoping for the best.
So we're moving from casual conversation to something more like programming?
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. There's this technique called SPELL, Semantic Prompt Evolution, based on a LLM, that takes it even further. Instead of humans crafting perfect prompts, the AI learns to improve its own prompts through an evolutionary process.
Wait, so the AI is teaching itself how to talk to itself better? That sounds like science fiction.
It does sound wild, but the research from Yujian Li and Kai Wu shows it's very real. SPELL uses an evolutionary algorithm where the AI creates a population of prompts, tests them, and keeps the best performers. It's like natural selection for instructions.
That's incredible. So instead of a human spending hours crafting the perfect prompt, the AI just evolves one?
Precisely. The SPELL framework starts with population initialization, creating diverse initial prompts. Then it uses reproduction to generate new variations and selection to choose the best performers. The results show it can rapidly improve prompt effectiveness.
This is making me think about how we communicate as humans. We don't just blurt out random words. We structure our thoughts, choose our words carefully.
That's such a great parallel. And it connects to another breakthrough technique called metaprompting. According to research from Machine Learning Mastery, this is where you ask the AI to write its own prompts based on high-level instructions.
Metaprompting, so we're going meta on the meta. How does that actually work in practice?
The example they give is brilliant. Instead of trying to craft the perfect essay prompt yourself, you ask the AI, generate a detailed prompt that can help a language model write a persuasive essay. The AI then creates a much more structured, effective prompt than most humans would.
So the AI becomes its own prompt engineer. That's actually kind of mind-bending when you think about it.
It really is. And according to Ugo Prader's research in Towards Data Science, this co-construction strategy allows for fast production of very precise and effective prompts. The AI helps structure the problem space in ways that are both logical and operational.
But here's what I'm wondering. If the AI is getting so good at prompting itself, what does that mean for humans in this process?
Great question. The research suggests we're moving toward a collaborative model. Humans provide the high-level intent and context, while AI handles the technical optimization. It's like being a director rather than writing every line of dialogue.
That's a really helpful analogy. Now, I want to dig into something specific. How does this apply to structured outputs? Because that seems crucial for practical applications.
Absolutely crucial. Google's Vertex AI documentation shows how you can guarantee that a model's output always adheres to a specific schema. You define a response schema that works like a blueprint, and the AI's response always follows your defined structure.
So instead of getting creative but inconsistent outputs, you get reliable, formatted responses every time?
Exactly. The documentation mentions this is particularly useful when you have an established data schema for other tasks. If you have the model follow the same schema, you can directly extract data without any post-processing.
That sounds incredibly practical for business applications. But I'm curious about the creative side. How does this apply to something like podcast generation?
This is where it gets really exciting. According to research from Eric Barker on prompt engineering for podcasters, the podcasting landscape has exploded with over 5 million active shows competing for attention. Strategic prompting can save hours of preparation time while improving content quality.
5 million shows? That's a lot of competition. So good prompting becomes a competitive advantage?
Absolutely. The research shows that effective podcast prompts need 4 key elements: context about your podcast and audience, clearly defined tasks, specified output format, and constraints for tone and style. It's much more sophisticated than just asking, write show notes.
So instead of write show notes, you'd say something like, create comprehensive show notes for a 45-minute business podcast about remote work productivity, include 3 key takeaways and 5 actionable tips.
Perfect example. And according to Huige's research on LinkedIn, this systematic approach can transform podcast planning from hours of work into minutes of structured professional output. The key is understanding professional script structure and technical production needs.
That's fascinating, but I want to push back a little. Doesn't this risk making everything sound the same? Like, if everyone's using these optimized prompts, do we lose creativity?
That's a really important concern. But the research suggests the opposite. According to the Learn AI team's findings, professionals who mastered prompt engineering reported 73% higher satisfaction with AI tools and saved an average of 6.2 hours per week. The time savings actually enables more creativity.
Interesting. So better prompting gives you more time to be creative rather than less?
Exactly. And here's something really cool from the research. There are different prompting strategies for different needs. ThoughtWorks describes techniques like role, task, context, expectation structuring, and journalism-inspired lead-A structures that address what, why, where, how, and how much.
So it's not one size fits all. You're choosing different prompting strategies based on what you're trying to accomplish?
Right. And this connects to some really advanced research from MIT and other institutions on syntactic and semantic control. They've developed something called sequential Monte Carlo for controlled language model generation that can make small models outperform ones 8 times larger.
Wait, smaller models performing better than larger ones? How is that possible?
It's all about control and constraints. The MIT research shows that by using sophisticated prompting and constraint techniques, you can guide smaller models to produce more accurate, relevant outputs than just throwing more computational power at the problem.
That's like saying a skilled craftsperson with simple tools can outperform someone with expensive equipment but no technique.
Perfect analogy. And it highlights something crucial. This isn't just about technology, it's about understanding how to communicate effectively with AI systems. The research consistently shows that prompt quality matters more than model size in many applications.
So we're essentially learning a new language, not just English or Python, but the language of AI communication?
That's exactly right. And according to IBM's research, this is becoming an essential skill. They describe prompt engineering as an iterative process that involves experimenting to find the best prompt, optimizing length, and evaluating style and structure.
It sounds like we're moving toward a world where prompt engineering becomes as important as traditional programming skills.
The research certainly suggests that. And what's really exciting is that this isn't just theoretical. The fellow AI research shows practical applications, saving 5-10 hours per podcast episode across ideation, scripting, post-production, and promotion.
Those are real time savings that translate to real business value. But I'm curious about the learning curve. How hard is it to get good at this?
The research suggests it's more accessible than traditional programming. The key principles are clarity, specificity, and context. According to multiple studies, the biggest mistakes are vague instructions, missing context, and overwhelming complexity.
So it's about being a better communicator rather than learning complex syntax?
Exactly. And the research shows that iteration is crucial. You start with a basic prompt, test it, refine it based on results. It's more like having a conversation than writing code.
That makes it feel much more approachable. Now, looking ahead, where do you think this is all heading?
The research points toward increasingly sophisticated AI systems that can understand context, adapt to feedback, and even improve their own prompting strategies. We're moving from simple question and answer to true collaborative intelligence.
Collaborative intelligence, I like that phrase. It suggests partnership rather than replacement.
Exactly. The research consistently shows that the most effective applications combine human creativity and context with AI's processing power and consistency. It's about amplifying human capabilities, not replacing them.
And for someone listening to this who wants to start experimenting with these techniques, what would you recommend as a first step?
Start simple. Pick one task you do regularly, maybe writing emails or creating content outlines. Try the 4-element structure, context, task, format, and constraints. See how much more specific and useful the AI's responses become.
That's really practical advice. And I imagine once you see the difference, you start applying it everywhere?
That's exactly what the research shows happens. People start with one use case, see dramatic improvements, and then begin applying structured prompting to more and more of their workflow. It becomes a new way of thinking about human-AI collaboration.
So when you step back from all this research and these techniques, what's the bigger picture here? What does spell-like prompting really represent?
I think it represents a fundamental shift in how we interact with technology. We're moving from giving commands to having conversations, from hoping for good results to engineering reliable outcomes. It's the difference between shouting at a computer and speaking its language fluently.
And the research shows this isn't just theoretical, it's delivering real results for real people right now. From podcast creators saving hours per episode to businesses improving their AI workflows, these techniques are already changing how work gets done.
Absolutely. And what excites me most is that we're still in the early stages. As AI systems become more sophisticated and these prompting techniques evolve, we're going to see even more powerful forms of human-AI collaboration emerge.
Here's what I want you to remember from today's conversation. Spell-like prompting isn't magic, but it might as well be. By learning to structure your instructions clearly, iterate based on results, and think systematically about what you want from AI, you're not just getting better outputs, you're developing a new form of literacy that's becoming essential in our AI-integrated world. The next time you interact with an AI system, remember that you're not just asking questions, you're casting spells with words. Make them count. Thanks for joining us on Copilot Podcasts.